Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to be doing a demonstration of the JHS FireFly Fuzz. It's a fuzz pedal. I've had it for a while now. I've had a chance to, what I'd say, put it through its paces. This is the pedal that has an enormous amount of adjustment on it. It can really achieve a wide range of sounds. And even though I've had it for a while, I still don't really feel like I know this pedal. The adjustments, especially a couple of the adjustments, are very interdependent, and as you adjust one, it kind of seems to change a little bit of what the others do. I can't really say that I've gotten along with this pedal very well. The couple of good sounds that I've gotten out of it are truly badass, but it seems like most of the range of adjustment on the controls just generate sounds that don't really appeal to me. So today I'm going to send a Gibson Les Paul Classic with Burstbucker 1 and 2 pickups. I'm going to send that through the FireFly Fuzz and into a Marshall JCM 800 that will be on the low sensitivity input. If I put it on the high sensitivity input, I can't quite clean the JCM 800 up enough to really hear what the FireFly is doing. It just kind of turns into a really aggressive, high saturated, high gain kind of sound, which, hey, maybe that's what you're after. If so, give it a try. But I have a feeling that most people will have a little bit more luck feeding a fuzz pedal into a slightly darker, cleaner amplifier, something that when you push the front end can distort the front end and start to distort the power section as well. That's something that the low input on the JCM 800 seems to be very good at. It's a pretty clean setting on the amplifier, even just cranked all the way up in the low input. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get set up here and let's crank it up. So right now I've got the JCM 800 fired up and ready to go. Right now, no pedal or anything, FireFly is off. So let's just have a quick look at the front panel and quick listen to what it sounds like. Alright, forgive my poor playing here, but hey. Alright, so let's go ahead and flip on the FireFly and we'll take a look at the settings on it and see what it sounds like. Alright, we've got the volume cranked a little bit, we've got the EQ turned all the way clockwise, you got the bias all the way counterclockwise, and I got the fuzz just on just a little bit. So let's hear what that sounds like. So you can hear it's got that amazing kind of saggy low end to it. That's just kind of classic germanium fuzz. It's terrific. So the tone knob, I've got all the way counterclockwise, as you can see. And normally with a tone knob, you would think that would mean that's going to be the most trebly setting. You would think all the way counterclockwise would be the most bassy setting. But the tone is really more of a filter. So with it all the way clockwise, the filter is filtering out, I believe, nothing. And I think all the way counterclockwise, it's going to be filtering out pretty much all the low end. So it's a little counterintuitive. The volume, there is a ton of volume on tap on this thing. I have a feeling you could push any amplifier beyond its comfort zone as far as pushing the front end goes. This one I've got cranked up just a little bit beyond noon, which is a pretty neutral setting all in all. Alright, now let's fiddle around with the fuzz itself. I'll go ahead and start cranking up the fuzz. I'll put it at noon, and then at 3 o'clock, and then all the way up. We'll see what it sounds like. It gets a little meaner, a little nastier. Actually, it seems to hold together pretty well still. Let's go ahead and crank the fuzz up a bit more and see how that goes. So you can see it still has that wonderful saggy low end on it. It's starting to get a little bit more out of control. It's starting to get a little more, I don't know, a little crazy there. It kind of breaks up in a bit of an odd way. Let's crank that fuzz all the way up and see what it sounds like. That actually still holds together pretty well on that amp. I've tried this pedal through my Fender Deluxe Reverb, and honestly, I think it sounds like hammered crap. It just doesn't have that bottom end and that character that makes it break up when really pushed hard like this. A nice, dirty Marshall sound really accepts this pedal very well. All right, let's play with the tone and bias controls a little bit. I'll dial the fuzz back down. And I'll give you an idea of really what the tone and bias do. The tone, like I described before, is more of a filter, so it works a little backwards from what you would expect. The bias controls the voltage going to that germanium, I don't know, is it a transistor, is it a diode? I'm not an electronics guy, so... It changes just the character of the pedal itself. From what I heard, it's supposed to imitate the way that, as the old school germanium diodes, they used to really react to being hot or cold, and it would change the character of the pedal. And I believe that this is kind of a way to simulate that a little bit. So some of those pedals used to sound a little better as they got warmed up and really got hot. So let's play with these controls. Personally, I think the tone cranked all the way up, the bias cranked all the way counterclockwise. That's really the most usable sound out of this whole thing for me. But let's see what it sounds like if we play with these a little. Alright, so as you can hear there, it's much quieter. It's not driving the amp as hard. There's a little more mid-range in it. It's not quite so scooped sounding, but it's much thinner. It doesn't really have the balls on the bass, you know, just that nice, solid low end we were hearing before. Alright, one more setting, and I'll wrap this up. I'll just kind of turn it to the kind of worst case settings for me, so I'll turn the tone all the way counterclockwise, the bias all the way clockwise. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, to me, that sounds pretty gnarly. I'm not a fan of that kind of sound. It's really saturated. It's got more mids and maybe more highs, but there's just no low end, and even just having, like you saw, I had the fuzz just set at noon. I don't know. I don't really care for that sound. I can't think of a useful application for that in any sort of practical way. All right, well, hey, there's the JH FireFly Fuzz. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave some comments in the comments area below, any suggestions you might have, and I'll see you guys later.